Hello everybody and welcome back to our Force India career mode here on Motorsport Manager using the ICE Real World mod. Now, a few things to point out before we start this episode. Don't panic about the balance. We are currently in minus balance. I'll explain why in just a second. And we are very close to the end of the season, so we'll go through the calendar in just a second. Now, if you missed the last Grand Prix, if you missed the last episode of this series, we got a pretty positive result, to be honest, in Japan. It was Sergio Perez in 6th place and Esteban Ocon in 9th place. It's a very strange racing in terms of strategy and tyres and trying to get everything to balance out, but we managed to get a good result out of it, which has really helped us in the standings. We'll have a look at that as well. So in terms of team standings, we're currently 4th place, no chance of catching Red Bull, Ferrari or Mercedes, and we are at the moment comfortably ahead of Williams, and I expect us to stay ahead of Williams till the end of the season, and 4th place in the Constructors is a very good result for us as a team. In terms of drivers, Sergio Perez in 6th place and Esteban Ocon in 12th place. Again, I can't see much change with Ocon, but Perez has the risk of dropping down to 7th, but still, 7th in the championship is a good result for us as a team. Now, when I say we're in minus money and not to worry about it, it's because we've just started building a test track. So basically, in terms of the base buildings, apart from these three down here, the theme park and the road car factory, we've got no chance of unlocking them anytime soon. So apart from the forecasting centre, we'll have built everything that will improve the performance of our car, so we can unlock better parts. So next season we'll be able to fully upgrade everything to an extra level than we can at the moment, which obviously is really going to help, and hopefully it'll improve our car, the base performance of the car for next season. We do need to think about upgrading a few buildings, particularly things like the design centre and the factory, so we can start to improve cars a lot better. But that is very expensive, as you can see, £15 million for both, so that is very difficult to fund at the moment, especially it's not likely for a couple of years that we're going to get everything upgraded. But the fact the headquarters is looking good at the moment. I'm quite happy with how it's developing, and a couple of more buildings will be done very soon. Now, 4 to 5 weeks, and the other bit of things I wanted to talk about is that we are going to stop developing our car for this season. I've decided after this Grand Prix, maybe we'll build one more part, depending on what we desperately need. But we have a look, there's only 3 races left. As I said, it's very unlikely we're going to move forward in the championship, and if we drop behind Max Verstappen, that's purely because he's on a Red Bull, which is obviously a quicker car. So, I don't see much point spending more money on a car that isn't going to improve us either way. The chairman's happy with where we're finishing, the drivers are happy. If we just carry on how we're doing things at the moment, I think everyone will be happy. So, I think I may stop development of the car after this Grand Prix and just start saving money towards next season, so that when we start the first race next season, we'll have a very competitive car. Now, enough of that, we'll talk about the race that's going on today. We are in the USA, the Phoenix Grand Prix, a kind of half-oval track with a little bit of infield track as well. So it's going to be an interesting track to race on. As you can see, fuel burn low, tyre wear very high, and laps 43. So, interesting that the fuel burn is low and the tyre wear is high. So we're going to be able to balance, having to save tyres with running on higher fuel settings. No rain expected for the race as well, which is good. So, talking about that, I need to set this as, don't I? I've forgotten what I'm doing. So we're going to have BWT as our main sponsor, as always. Give us the most money for an objective that we've completed every single time. Tyre selection, because the tyre was high, we're going to go for some hard tyres, quite a few hard tyres. And probably the rest as soft tyres, not mediums. As soft tyres, to be honest. Maybe it will bring one more set of mediums as well, just in case we need them. But, in fact, we'll change that for an extra set of soft tyres. No, we'll balance it a little bit more. We'll have some medium tyres. Like that. So the idea is use all these soft tyres in qualifying, of course, and then we have the hard tyres to run in the race when we're going to hope to go as long as we can. Part fitting, I do think I have a couple of parts I need to fit to the cars. We'll have a quick look at that. Yes, we have this brand new engine, a very good engine compared to what Ocon's got at the moment, so we'll give it to Esteban Ocon for now. Not quite as good as Perez's, so he'll keep the engine that he's got. And apart from that, I did think I had another part. No, it must just be the engine. Fair enough. Okay, well that's still going to give him quite a nice performance increase over what he had. So without any further ado, as I said, we're going to jump straight into the race. As always, I'll go off and do practice and qualifying and rejoin you for the race in just a second. So welcome here to the race in the USA. The USA. I nearly got that completely wrong. I don't know how. It's a very simple word to say, but I nearly got it wrong anyway. So I'll be setting the knowledge in the background as usual. What's been a very positive weekend so far. As you can see, didn't quite get all the testing done that we'd like to. I usually like to get it to plus 15%. the maximum level you can get, but unfortunately, because it's quite a long lap, it's not the longest track, but it's quite a long lap, we weren't able to get the cars in and out quick enough to really do that. Setups went quite well, could have been a bit better, but in the end I'm happy with greats and excellent, so, you know, maybe could have got an excellent there, but I did try a few things and just made it worse, so I decided to stick with what we had rather than make any drastic changes. As always, attack and overtake at the very start. Now, it's important they get a good start, and I'll show you why in just a second. So, Lewis Hamilton on pole and Sebastian Vettel second, kind of the traditional front two at the moment. Daniel Ricciardo third, Valtteri Bottas fourth, Max Verstappen fifth, Kimi Räikkönen in a relatively disappointing sixth place, to be honest. I'd expect him to be nearer to Sebastian than that. And then, a little bit way back from them, Sergio Perez seventh place, don't know why I bother saying it anymore, Felipe Massa in eighth, Esteban Ocon in ninth, so again, two in a row now, top 10 starts, which is a massive improvement for him. And, you know, it looked like he was going to get 8th for quite a while. Massa managed to pip him right at the end, unfortunately. But still, a 9th place start is good indeed. Lance Stroll in 10th place. So we are battling the Williams at the moment for this Grand Prix. So as I said, it's important they get a good start so we can beat the Williams today. Because I reckon if we beat the Williams today and get more points than them, then that's basically the Constructors' battle over and us in 4th place. So, you know, I'd like to get that wrapped up as soon as possible so there's less pressure and we can kind of enjoy the last few races a bit more. Maybe try a few things out for next season in terms of strategies and things. So, yeah, hopeful for a good race. We'll get straight into it. No reason to mess about. We've already seen the grid, so we'll get straight onto it. Give them control of their battery, as always. Starting, following Perez. 5 red lights, and they're out. It's a good start for Perez. Not the best start for Ocon, but Perez gets held up by the cars ahead, who then holds Ocon up in return. Alonso's jumped to 6th place, 5th place. Someone always seems to get a rapid start. It doesn't matter who it is. Hulkenberg as well getting a rapid start. And we are dropping back. Ocon out the points in 13th, 15th place. I'm not sure what's gone on wrong for him. Perez dropped down as well. He's now back into 7th, but he's behind Verstappen. Alonso in 3rd place now. Kvyat joining the party for some reason. I'm not quite sure what's going on here. Lots of cars that have no business being here are beating us quite comfortably. We managed to go down the inside of 2 cars there. Battling away with Raikkonen. Ocon needs to get back on his game and start moving forward. We're going to have to turn them both down in terms of engine. Pascal Wehrlein's crash. There is a safety car. Ooh, that's interesting. I'm going to quickly pause it so I can set them on backup and low. We're not going to pit now, though, because it is way too early in the race for that. We're just going to be, you know, we're wasting our soft tyre stint if we pit now. So we're going to have to stay out for a little bit longer. This is really going to help the guys on hard tyres. They may be able to get to the end with that safety car. But, yeah, very frantic start. In the end, we finished 7th and 10th after that first couple of laps. So, yeah, very, very hectic start. Wehrlein crashed on the first corner, it looks. Oh, no, partway around the track, actually. Didn't see the incident, so I don't know if he hit anyone or someone hit him. But, yeah, a very bizarre start. Alonso's still in 3rd place. Lots of cars managing to move up the grid, unfortunately, which has kind of cost us with Ocon, because he's now stuck behind Kvyat, who's on the hard tyres. So we need to get past him as quickly as possible. Good news for us, though. Massa and Stroll, 14th and 15th, they had a horrible start as well. And I think it might have been Verstappen that had the slow start, and that kind of triggered everything off. Because he got a slow start, it meant Perez had to stop, basically, slam on his brakes, which then held up the cars behind him, and the cars that were on the other side of the track managed to kind of jump us all, unfortunately. So, yeah, a bit annoying, but this is a really useful little bit of time for us, because we can save tyres, cool them right down, and save fuel as well. So, probably when the safety car goes in, we'll push really hard on these tyres and the fuel for a lap, just to try and make some progress if we can, and then start to think about long-term, saving them as long as possible. Let me just, while we're in the safety car, I don't have much problem stopping it. So the hard tyres can do up to 32 laps. So really these tyres need to go for another 10 laps, which is going to be a bit of a struggle, and we may need to think about saving tyres rather than pushing quite so hard. But the weird thing with this track is it's actually quite cool, 23 degrees. So tyre wear is high, but it's not because of temperatures, it's just because of the track. So the tyres do tend to cool down very quickly. So it's important to keep temperature, but also save them as long as we can. So we'll have to play it smart if we want to make these tyres last to the point we can do a 1-stop. We may have to consider doing a 2-stop at some point, you know, if this tyre is wearing out too quickly. 69% for both drivers, which isn't bad if we want to get through these next few laps. And of course this safety car period is definitely helping us quite a lot. Still not cleared Wehrlein's car, so I'm surprised the safety car's coming in this lap, but the game's decided, so we're going to tell them to push and high rather than full attack, I think. And we're going to doing that now. Actually, no, they're probably a bit too early, so we'll set them on low. Oh no, there we go. So the safety car is in now, and we're back on the restart. It looks like most people are pushing hard, unsurprisingly. We're down the inside of Verstappen. Can we take the place? We can. We even jumped one of the Mercedes there, and Ocon up to 6th place. We've had a mega restart there. 4th and 6th now. 3rd, in fact. We're ahead of Alonso, which is vital for us because he is in a slower car. So hopefully he'll do a bit of holding up of the cars behind, and we can start to pull a bit of a gap with Perez here. We're going to keep pushing hard. We're going to turn down to neutral driving styles, try and save the tyres now, but stay high on the fuel. We've got plenty of fuel to use up, and I'd rather use it now to hold these positions. Ocon's dropped back down to 7th, unfortunately, but still. Oh, back to 6th. I'm going to follow him. He seems to be having all the action at the moment. He's between Raikkonen and Bottas. Massa's jumped back up to 9th place, and Stroll made some progress as well. So, Williams obviously still quick, even if they did drop back at the start. But yeah, 7th place for Ocon's good so far, but he's got Valtteri Bottas right behind him. Here comes the Mercedes, and the Mercedes blast past on the straight, unsurprisingly. Now I've got the Williams for company as well. Lots of guys on full overtake on their engines. I don't quite want to use that much fuel up at this early stage. I'd rather just go high, get a bit of an advantage, but not waste fuel too quickly. Tyre temperatures still look good. A little bit cool, maybe. Van Dorn's been giving a drive-through for colliding with another driver. So again, didn't see the incident, but I don't know if there's going to be some cars with damage out there, which would be interesting. In fact, there is. It looks like Van Dorn and Kevin Magnussen came together, so Van Dorn got the penalty, but both are in the pits for repairs. Which is useful for us. That puts them out the race in terms of blocking us when we pit. Which is something we need to start considering where the gaps are. Max Verstappen's collided with Felipe Massa, so that could be another 2 cars with damage. Does Massa have damage? Yes, Massa has damage, so the Williams again in trouble. This could be the end of their battle for 4th in the Constructors, and that could be a guaranteed 4th place for us, because Williams at the moment, Stroll in 10th place, but Massa way out of it now. In fact, he's going to be overlapped if he's not careful, if that pit stop takes much longer. So, definitely good news for us in terms of points in the championship. Still in the pits, they've been overlapped. They're coming out now. Please don't block us when you come out the pits. We overlap, I should say, Massa. They've both pitted for... In fact, they've gone on to medium tyres, which is a bit interesting. I thought they'd gone for hard and try to make it till the end, but they've obviously got different plans in mind. Speaking of which, thinking of tyres, we've got plenty of tyre life left in terms of making that one-stop work. Ricciardo and Raikkonen are now past Alonso, so I'd expect they'd be on our backs any time now. Everyone's still pushing on engines. Actually, a couple of guys starting to turn their engines down. I'm going to keep it on high for now, and then when our last lap on this stint, we'll go overtake, and then save more fuel in the second stint when we're on the hard tyres anyway. But Ricciardo, I should say, definitely closing up now. Luckily, Verstappen in a quicker car, so he's not holding us up at the moment. We are, behind him to overlap him, but because he's got fresh tyres, he can really push on them. And he's actually pulling away from us, so he's not going to be an issue. He's not going to block us at all. 32 laps remaining, which was the maximum the hard tyres could last. So, we could pit now and go for a bit of fuel tyre saving in the second stint, or we can try and eke this stint out a couple more laps. In fact, I'm not sure that's going to work. It is looking very marginal. I think we'll have to go one more lap. So we're going to tell them both to go full attack and overtake now on this last lap. Use up any tyre life they have left. Pit with Perez first for some hard tyres, of course. I'm going to go for a balanced pit stop and hope for the best. Don't want to go for a fast one. Same with Ocon. We'll bring him on the same lap. So we are going to be double stacking, but we should have enough time between them on track that it shouldn't be an issue. So basically going with the same strategy at the moment, and in the next stint they're going to have to do quite a bit of tyre saving, to be honest, which will be a bit difficult for them, but hopefully they can manage it. Everyone's tyres pretty much in the same condition, so I'd expect other cars around us coming into the pits as well, so we might not lose out too badly here. I need Perez's pit stop to be a good one so we don't hold up Ocon and don't lose any time. It's a good pit stop for Perez. Is it a good one for Ocon as well? Unfortunately, oh no, we've come out into a really good gap actually, ahead of Kvyat there, so that worked really well. Bad pit stop for Ocon though. Every single time we're in a good position, something goes wrong. So straight away we're going to turn things down. I don't really want to waste our tyres too much, although we are stuck behind Lance Stroll. But he should be pitting soon anyway, he's on those soft tyres. So Ocon's dropped down to 15th place, that's so unfortunate. He's having a... Go away, menu, go away! He was having a really good race, but he's been ruined in that pit stop, unfortunately. But as I said, everyone in front. In fact, we're going to tell Perez to push for a little bit longer, so hopefully we can get the undercut on some of the cars ahead. Stroll coming into the pits this lap, so he's going to get out of our way. He has held us up a little bit though, which is unfortunate. Williams trying to get the revenge there, it looks like. We're still ahead of Raikkonen, which is good, but he is quite close behind. But he's stuck behind traffic as well, so that's alright. A couple of cars ahead are into the pits as well. So now we'll turn everything down, because I don't think we're going to be able to undercut anyone else. Alonso and Ricciardo quite some distance ahead, so they may actually jump us, I think, if we're not careful. Yeah, so really unfortunate for Ocon. He's now just ahead of Stroll, basically. So he's just got to go to the end, do the best he can, and hopefully pick up positions as other cars pit. But yeah, unfortunate for him that it was a bad pit stop at that moment. Perez up to 5th place now after Alonso pitted, so it's just Ricciardo now left to pit. And Hülkenberg ahead of us on those hard tyres. Probably going to be a bit of a bother because he doesn't look like he's going to pit immediately. He's not going to be able to do one stop, but he doesn't look like he's pitting anytime soon. So if we can overtake him, that'd be brilliant. If not, we will lose a bit of time. Now, is Ricciardo going to jump us? I think he might do. We might just get ahead of him. We are just ahead, but of course now he's on the fresher tyres than us, so I'd expect that Red Bull on fresher tyres to get past. Good news is Kvyat's still not pitted. I do know I say that wrong every time. I always point this out, but I know I'm getting his name wrong. I'm trying my best. I'm hoping he's going to hold up Raikkonen and Bottas a little bit for us. Toro Rosso may be useful for us this time rather than blocking us, blocking our rivals. So at the moment we're in a net 3rd place with Hülkenberg ahead of us. Whether we're going to finish there, I kind of doubt it. I mean, look at Ricciardo's pace. He is right on the back of us. He's pushing on his tyres hard. We're having to save tyres to make sure they last. Do have a bit of battery we can use, but I don't think that's going to make much of a difference when he's pushing this hard. And Ocon, 13th place, not bad. Ericsson ahead, Palmer needs to pit. Sainz needs to pit as well, so he'll probably still be in the points. And he's managing to hold positions. Oh, there we go. Perez overtaken by Ricciardo down the inside. Good move by Ricciardo. Used kind of the dummy of Hülkenberg. I'm not calling him a dummy. We tried to overtake Hülkenberg around the outside, and Ricciardo used that as an opportunity. Although we're battling back now. He's being held up by Hülkenberg now. Hülkenberg kind of the cork in the bottle at the moment. We're back around the outside of Ricciardo. Can we overtake Hülkenberg as well? Oh, that was an epic move by Ricciardo. I have to admit that. I have to bow my head because he used that. He used Hülkenberg to go down the inside while we tried to go around the outside. Very sort of Hakkinen Schumacher-esque around in Spa. Can't remember the name of the driver now. I used to remember it, but I can't remember it now. Began with a Z, I think. Was it Zonta? Possibly. Anyway, going completely off topic, talking about actual Formula 1. I don't know why. So, Ocon, yeah, he's got 3 cars ahead that definitely need to pit. Alonso and Bottas will have to pit again because they're on the soft tyres. So it looks like a lot of people don't think the hard tyres will last till the end. And they might be right, to be honest, looking at it. 72%, and we've still got 21 laps to go, I should say. It's going to be very touch and go. We may need to go a bit more conservative on them for a little bit. We'll do it now because, in terms of the cars ahead, Hülkenberg's in the pits now. Is Ocon going to jump Hülkenberg, in fact? Yeah, he does. Okay. So that's good news for him. He's going to be a bit slower now with conserving tyres, but I'm just relying on the cars pitting ahead. Now, the reason I'm going conservative now is because the cars ahead of us, they've basically gone. Ricciardo on those hard tyres, he's gone. He's going to go to the end. Hamilton and Vettel so far ahead, there's no point trying to catch them. But cars like Raikkonen, Alonso and Bottas are going to have to pit again. So, we're still going to have a pit's worth advantage over them. We're still going to have about 20 seconds advantage on them. So, saving tyres now, trying to get them to the end, I think is better than pushing and having to pit along with everyone else. It may be very marginal towards the end. We may lose a couple of positions, but I'm hopeful that we can make it till the end. I mean, it worked for us last time. If you didn't watch the last episode, it worked quite well for us last time. We didn't think the tyres would get to the end, but managed to save tyres enough that they did, and we gained a good advantage over some of the other cars. Tyres, of course, are getting cold now, unfortunately, but I can't risk pushing them any harder than we are doing. Again, the advantage is Raikkonen's trying to get past us, so he's using tyres quite a lot to try and get round us, so he's going to have to pit even sooner. So I think at the moment Perez has I don't want to say guaranteed because that could go horribly wrong, but a decent chance of finishing in 4th place, which will of course be an amazing result for us. Again, unfortunate that Ocon got caught up in that pit stop. He's lost a position to Stroll as well, so Williams gaining some points back on us. I'm trying to wonder if Hülkenberg and Sainz, I think they'll be able to get to the end on medium tyres. So, yeah, Ocon's race, unfortunately going downhill. It looked like he's on for some good points. Maybe even like a 7th place finish, but that pit stop has just ruined his race. Bottas in the pits already. Now, this is another interesting thing, which may actually help us in terms of Ocon having that poor pit stop, because we can now use him, hopefully, as a bit of, again, like Hülkenberg, a bit of a cork in the bottle for these cars trying to get past us. So say, Bottas there, or when Raikkonen pits, if they end up behind Ocon, hopefully we can use him to back up some of our rivals and give Perez that space he needs. Raikkonen in the pits now, so this is the kind of period of time, unfortunately Raikkonen's got past ahead of Ocon in the pits. This is kind of the period of time I was talking about where they're having to pit now while we're just going around on the same tyres. So we are going to lose time to them on those fresh tyres, but it's whether we lose 20 seconds worth of time. I mean, Raikkonen is fully pushing. We've got lots of fuel, actually. I forgot how good we are at saving fuel, so we're going to tell Perez, in fact, we'll give him a couple of laps on overtake, I think, while Raikkonen's pushing hard on his tyres to try and sort of negate the disadvantage we've got by just pumping more fuel into the engine. Giving us more straight line speed, of course, which is helpful on this track. Ocon defending from Carlos Sainz. Ocon might not score any points here. I think we have to accept he may not get any points. Although Kvyat and Sainz are battling together, so I have a chance there. In fact, Perez can still push. He's got so much fuel and he's so good at saving fuel. Even when pushing on a high engine mode, he's not losing that much fuel. So hopefully we can keep pushing like that for a little bit longer. Try and, while Raikkonen's wearing out his tyres, by the time he catches us, I'm hoping he's kind of worked through those tyres a bit too much, although he's setting a fastest lap after fastest lap at the moment. But Perez sets his best lap of the race. Still, how many seconds slow? About 2 seconds slower than Raikkonen, so it's going to be close at the end. It's going to be tight. I think we can probably come off conserve now and go to neutral. I think we should have enough tyre life now. 12 laps remaining, 50%. Again, it's going to be touch and go, but I think we can do it. And Perez still going faster. Alonso's pitted as well, so we don't have that pressure, so we are in completely clear air. We can just focus on lap times. We're going to tell him to go to a high rather than overtake now. He's starting to run out of fuel. Hopefully he can run in a high fuel mode basically till the end, I think. He's got enough fuel. Hamilton and Vettel both in the pit stop, but we've got no chance of catching them unless they have a very poor pit stop. Vettel managed to take the lead in the pits, though. I don't think he... Although he might have been in the lead, I didn't quite check. But yeah, Vettel now in the lead ahead of Hamilton, so they're going to be having a battle to the end. We're in a very lonely 4th place, and Ricciardo in a very lonely 3rd place as well, so... No chance of getting on the podium today unless something goes wrong for one of their cars, but good chance of... In fact, we're going to have to go conservative. I'm looking at the tyres, and I think we're going to have to go conservative. Ocon's still in 9th, ahead of Bottas, so holding them up well, as I said, but doesn't look like he's going to move forward and may drop out of the points towards the end, but I'm hopeful that we can hold this position for now. Not many people pushing apart from the front 3 on their tyres. Raikkonen having to save tyres now as well. This is the advantage that I was kind of talking about, because he was trying so hard to catch up with us. He's now maybe worn his tyres out more than he was hoping for and overheated them as well, so he's got to save tyres now, so... Basically in the same position as us. Oh, he's pushing again. Never mind. But he's also saving fuel. So we do have that advantage over him. And we have quite a healthy lead still. Got quite a lot of ground to catch up before he can start to think about getting past us. So I'm just hopeful with a couple of laps left that we can hold that advantage. Both of them doing very well. I'm very happy with how they're driving. Maybe not happy with Ocon's result. But that's, you know, that's the team's fault, not his. That was that poor pit stop. And I kind of... You know, pitting both on the same lap, it's liable to cause mistakes in the team, so it's unfortunate, but Ocon's tyres were dead. I didn't really have much of a choice in terms of... I mean, you know, I could have pitted him a lap earlier, but I wanted to go as long as we could on those tyres, get the most advantage out of them. So he's battling away with Bottas. I expect Bottas will probably get past him at some point. Very similar tyres, but obviously the Mercedes a quicker car overall. So both of them still have plenty of fuel, so as I said, they might be able to go to the end on a high fuel mix, which would be useful again to save ourselves from the cars around on fresher tyres. Ocon in fact sets his personal best lap, so I'm definitely impressed with him in the last few races. He did have that unfortunate DNF a couple of races ago, but in Japan and here, although the results maybe haven't been spectacular, his actual driving has been really good. I say that, oh no, he's held on to it against Bottas, so, you know, just never mind. I knew that was going to happen. As soon as I started praising him, he was going to lose his position. But still, 10th place, considering the disadvantage he had from that poor pit stop, is still impressive enough. Kvyat on soft tyres, but he is wearing them out very quickly. So hopefully we can stay ahead of the Toro Rosso. He's got some battery to use as well to defend. But Raikkonen nowhere near Perez, so we can probably go full backup, to be honest, with Perez, to try and just make sure we get to the end with a bit of tyre life left, so we can push on the last few laps maybe, if Raikkonen starts to close us down too quickly. It's about a 10-second gap. I can't imagine that he'll catch that up. In fact, we were actually almost as quick as him on the last lap. So yeah, I reckon we are safe from Raikkonen. It's more about Ocon trying to hold on to that 10th place. Although Kvyat's dropped back a little bit. He's actually pitting again, so next car is Carlos Sainz. There's only a couple of seconds. Perez's engine not looking healthy, but he's got to stay out. Tyre wear not helping his lap times, I know it's not, but there's no point pitting now. We'll just drop way too far down the grid. I'd rather just struggle till the end and hold the position we've got. We've got track position in the end, so we've only got a couple of laps left. Although Raikkonen's starting to close us down a little bit again. Both of them wanting to pit for fresh tyres, but again, you know, pitting now kind of pointless. We'll just lose all our track position. Even if we're on worn tyres, we've still got two drivers who are capable of defending positions, so I'm comfortable they'll be able to keep it. As Lewis Hamilton takes the lead with a couple of laps left, an actual battle on track going on for the lead, which obviously can be quite rare sometimes. Looks like Raikkonen's got some mechanical issues as well, but he is definitely closing us down now. It's dropped to about 8-second gap. Still comfortable, still happy that we'll be able to keep that till the end, but a bit tighter than I would have liked, to be honest. Ocon comfortably in 10th place now, so at least he's going to bring home a point. Not the best point, and I think that basically confirms he's going to finish 12th in the championship, because with Hulkenberg and Stroll both getting points as well, definitely not going to be able to catch them before the end. Although, speaking of being caught till the end, I've just noticed the gap to Raikkonen is not very big. So we're going to tell him to go full attack on his tyres because it's the last lap. Same with Ocon when he crosses the line. We'll tell him to go full attack. And with Perez, on the last straight, probably I'll use overtake as well, just to make sure. And we've got battery as well, so we use it a little bit now, and then a little bit off this hairpin. Oops, I didn't mean to press that. And then off this final corner. We do manage to hold on to 4th place. Got very close at the end there. We're actually catching the cars ahead here with Ocon. Don't know why I used his battery again. Unfortunately, I kind of messed up at the end then, but unfortunately Ocon couldn't quite catch Hulkenberg ahead of him. But still, 10th place, not bad, and Perez in 4th place. A very good result indeed. Maybe could have been a podium, but I think that was going to be a bit of a tall ask today. But still, more points for Perez, which is always nice. So have a look at the full result. Lewis Hamilton won the race, Sebastian Vettel second. A couple of guys actually went for all soft tyres, so they went for extra stop, but did full soft tyre runs, which is interesting. Not what I would have picked, obviously, because I didn't. We went for soft and hard, the one stop, same as Ricciardo, same as Lance Stroll. A couple of other drivers did it as well. To varying degrees of success, it's fair to say. Verline, I mean, that was a very interesting strategy to crash on the first lap. But yeah, very mixed grid, of course. Verstappen right down there. Massa had damage as well, so he had an issue. A couple of drivers with issues didn't quite get the full performance. But overall, I'm quite happy with that. We'll check scrutineering. We don't have any risky parts on, so we're fine. Did anyone else break any rules, though? No, still. Oh, no, a couple of... Oh, no, those are drive-thrus. No, I don't think... I think we maybe have had one illegal part so far this season, so everyone behaving themselves. So there we go. That's the grid. That's the finishing result, as you can see. We'll look at the standings. Perez actually moves further ahead of Max Verstappen, which is very useful for him. That may mean he's able to keep 6th place in the Drivers' Championship, depending on Verstappen's next couple of results. Close up slightly to Kimi Raikkonen as well, but we're not going to catch him. It's a 22-point gap. So we're not going to be able to catch him unless we suddenly win a race out of nowhere. And Ocon pretty much confirmed to finish in 12th place now. In terms of the Constructors, I'm pretty sure that makes us safe in 4th place as well, which is very nice. Now, as always, we'll go through any mail and interviews we have to do, and then wrap up the episode there. Apologies if there was a jump cut there, and I suddenly interrupted myself. The game, I thought it was going to crash, and I panicked, and I started getting scared, but it seems to have worked, so I'm hoping, if there is no video now, you know why. There was a slight issue with the game. The loading screen took ages, the music kept skipping, and yeah, this game hates me at the moment for some reason, but I'm hoping you can see what's on screen. Everyone's stats are going up very nicely, especially Ocon. His overtaking went up by 5% in that race because of the battling he was doing, so that's very impressive indeed. Our marketability goes up as well, and a nice nearly £4 million input of cash, so we're back in the green, thankfully. Now again, we're going to have a look at, as I said, any emails and interviews we have to do, if you can actually still see the screen. Our suspension part's also finished, so we can start improving that for the next race. We have an interview with Orff, so we'll do that. Sergio Perez was beaten by Lewis Hamilton today. Would you consider bringing him in next season? Again, I'm going to say no way. I have 100% belief in our drivers, because Hamilton won't want to join us anyway. So, no point upsetting my own drivers for nothing. So, I'm going to wrap the episode up there. As I said, the next race will be in Brazil, Rio de Janeiro, one of the stars of the real-life Formula 1 calendar, and I'm sure it's going to be a very exciting Grand Prix for us as well. But for now, thank you very much for watching. If you have enjoyed the video, please do feel free to leave a like. It's not compulsory, but it is always appreciated. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.